Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Friday. As you can see, my eyes are watery, sound congested, my nose is running, I'm sneezing. So there's gonna be probably some edits in this video, just to kind of black this stuff out. And if you hear me sniffling or something like that, I do apologize in advance for that. But we're gonna take a look at obviously the markets. What happened today? Today was actually a pretty good day. And then we also have Bitcoin news. JP Morgan Chase says Bitcoin's gonna go to 45,000, potentially is the upside potential for it. And then we'll also take a look at USBTC news that they're gonna be at 12 point something exahash. It's a little misleading of a title for it, but we'll take a look at all of it. And then we'll call it a day. We'll see what happens over the weekend. All right. So, but as always, you guys know the drill here. This is not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research and invest in the following coins and companies for full disclosure. Also, if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. So let's take a look at what's going on in the markets right now. The markets did really good today. S&P was up 1.3%. Dow Jones was up 1%. NASDAQ was up 1.96%. So overall, a really good day in the markets. Bitcoin was also up today quite nicely a little bit. It was up 0.89% on the day, closed at 26,714. We did bounce off of our 200 weekly moving average, which is our red line here. And then we got pretty close to our 20-day moving average here, which is our yellow line right there on it. The RSI right now is still pretty flat. I mean, been going sideways here ever since pretty much. I mean, you could say probably since Saturday, the 13th of May. We're obviously at the 26th of May right now, so almost 2 weeks that we've been kind of going sideways here between our bounds here as far as the 50-day moving average, which is our teal line, and that switched over to the 20-day moving average line, which is our yellow line, and between our 200 weekly moving average, which is our red line. Okay, so that's not much action going on there right now. The RSI on the 4-hour chart is at 52 right now. Last time we were back here was right around here between these 2 points. Bitcoin at that point was a little bit higher, so that would lead me to believe that we might be going down a little bit lower. But then we also have on the 1-hour chart, the RSI is currently at 58, and last time we were at 58 here, we were lower in price. So on the 1-hour chart, we're actually looking a little bit better than we are on the 4-hour chart. So we'll see. Right now, we have a little bit of indifference between which way we want to go. So we'll see if we get a reversal on the 4-hour chart as well, going forward into next, this weekend and next week. Okay, Ethereum here is also kind of being rejected by the 20-day and the 50-day moving averages, which are, like I said, the yellow line and the teal line here, and it has been going also flat sideways for the most part here. It's been going up in price a little bit here. RSI has been going up also as well, so we'll see how that one plays out. Now, the miners today were a little bit mixed today as far as which ones were up and which ones were down. Annie was up 1.7% today on it, which was good to see. Argo was also up 1.72% today. BitDigital was up 11.24%. Bitfarms was up 2.8%. Cypher was up 3.91%. CleanSpark was down 0.47%. Cores was down 0.27%. DigiHost was down 3.8%. DMG was up 3.13%. Greenidge was down 1.55%. Hive was down 0.3. Hive was actually up, 0.34%. Hut was up 7.07%. And this might be on the news of USBTC gaining some more traction here. Iris Energy was down 0.57%. Marathon was down 1.98%. Mawson was down 3.67%. Riot was down 1.36%. Soluna was down 8.44%. Stronghold was down 2.24%. Wolf was actually up 1.35%. And that's it for the miners. So like I said, a kind of a mixed day here on the miners. Surprisingly, Bitcoin was up, but some of these miners were actually down today, which was kind of surprising. Okay. So let's take a look at the network hash rate really quick, see where that stands right now. On the 7-day average, we are up a little bit here to 359 million on it. And if we look at the 1-day average, we're still kind of going sideways here a little bit at 376 million terahashes right now. Okay, so let's take a look at the 2 stories that we do have here. And these will be pretty quick here, and we'll call it a day. So first one is on Bitcoin. Bitcoin price could reach 45,000 due to rising gold price, says JP Morgan. There might be some correlation here between Bitcoin and gold here recently. But we did notice that it has kind of decoupled from the NASDAQ, at least over the last couple months here. Okay, so here's what it has to say. So the current gold price of nearly 2,000 per ounce would imply a Bitcoin price of 45,000, according to JP Morgan analysts, as the two assets tend to move in tandem and are seen as alternatives by investors. That might be the case, but they don't always move in tandem. Usually, over the last 10 years, you can see Bitcoin's gone up, however many 1,000% up, and gold has been flat for the most part. So I don't know where they're getting this kind of information. Maybe recently it's kind of going in tandem, but overall, longer period of time, you see the decoupling with that. With gold prices rising above 2,000, the value of gold held for investment purposes outside central banks is currently valued at around 3 trillion. In turn, this implies a 45,000 price for Bitcoin under the assumption that Bitcoin equalizes gold in private investors' portfolios in risk capital or volume adjusted terms. This was from JP Morgan strategist led by Nicholas P. I can't pronounce his last name. Wrote in a note on Wednesday. JP Morgan considers the 45,000 Bitcoin price as an upper limit, indicating limited potential for the asset beyond the increase driven by the doubling of mining or production costs, which is obviously based on the halving event. So the upcoming Bitcoin halving in April or May 2024 would mechanically double Bitcoin's production cost to around 40,000, according to JP Morgan. Their numbers are pretty high here. Most of the miners that we cover here are around anywhere between like 9,000 and 13,000 towards the upper end of things. So if things double, you're looking at possibly 26,000 to around 20,000 for some of the miners for the cost. So I think their numbers are off on that one. Okay. This is because Bitcoin's production cost has historically acted as an effective lower bound. JP Morgan strategist said, indeed, the previous halving events of 2016 and 2022 were accompanied by a bullish trajectory for the Bitcoin price that had accelerated post the halving event, which is kind of what we're going to be possibly seeing as well happening at the end of, or the middle of 2024, going into the end of 2024. Okay. JP Morgan assumes a 25% return on Bitcoin over the next 12 months as the time frame captures the halving event expected in 2024. Now, I'm expecting Bitcoin to be around 42,000 roughly by the end of this year, going into December. As we get closer to the halving event, I expect that to kind of increase in value as well. And then after, obviously, with the halving event, I expect it to go possibly parabolic in the next 12 to 16 months after that. Okay, so we're looking at possibly, I'm looking at the high being roughly around 180 to maybe 200,000 when everything is said and done, but we'll see. Okay. So I thought this was kind of interesting that they are also saying 45,000 by the end of this year or within the next 12 months. I'm saying 42,000 by the end of this year. Okay. So that's that one. And then let's take a look at USBTC. So USBTC aims to become Bitcoin mining giant after deal to buy Celsius assets. I think this is misleading, quite tremendously misleading here in this title here. I'll explain why in a little bit though. The miner could get as much as 75 million in management fees for the Celsius mining rigs over the 5 years. So they are part of a consortium or a group of investors that have gotten in, I guess, and bid on the Celsius mining because of bankruptcy. Okay, there's more details down below. So US Bitcoin Corp is looking to be one of the largest miners in the US by increasing its computing power by 12.2 exahash per second, following a deal to buy mining assets from bankrupt lender Celsius, according to a press release. So they're saying this is also wrong here, by increasing its computing power by 12.2. So that plus what they're going to supposed to have combined with HUT 8. With HUT 8, they're supposed to be at 7.2. So if they add another 12.2 on top of that, they're looking to be about 19.4 exahash. But this is misleading because this is not their own mining machines. This is for managed. This is also very misleading to individuals as well that don't pay attention to this kind of stuff. Okay, so I wanted to point that out. Let's see here. So the miner is part of a consortium named Fahrenheit that won a bankruptcy auction for the Celsius assets, which include a lending portfolio, crypto assets, and 121,800 mining machines. Once it brings all the mining rigs online, its fleet will total at least 270,000 mining rigs, the miner told CoinDesk. This will raise its computing power to the ranks of mining giants such as Riot Platforms, Core Scientific, and Marathon Digital Holdings. This is also inaccurate, right? There's a difference between managing somebody else's machines and having your own miners that you have control over. You're getting all the rewards for the Bitcoin and everything else. So this is very misleading in my opinion, okay? Going down here. Under the Celsius deal, USBTC will enter into one or more operating and services agreements to be the exclusive operator of the Celsius mining fleet. The miner said on top of that, USBTC will receive a 15 million annual management fee for the mining assets, net of operating expenses. For the 5 years, it will manage the rigs, the firm added. So they're managing the rigs. They're not their rigs. They're not getting paid the BTC that they would normally mine with those, but they are getting paid a management fee of 15 million on top of that. So that's 75 million on top of the expenses, provided that USBTC fulfills certain operational requirements. Okay, so there's some things that they got to do. USBTC also has to build out a 100 megawatt of infrastructure to house the Celsius rigs and provide a plan for the build out of another 240 megawatts of capacity in a behind the meter site. So there are obviously some expenses to that. I don't know if that's going to be included in the recoupment of financing, I guess, because it says here, where did it say it? On top of expenses. So that's the 75 million on top of expenses. I'm not sure if that expenses also includes them building out the infrastructure to 100 megawatts and then eventually to 240 megawatts of capacity. Okay. So that's where we're kind of standing at. This, like I said, I think is very disingenuous as far as the way it's being worded in here. They're going to be managing the sites, the machines and things like that. They're going to get paid for managing that, but they are not going to be seeing the rewards of the Bitcoin that would normally a self-mining operation would see. Okay. And I think that was it in here. Yeah. So just want to point that out to you guys to be aware of this and just keep an eye on things like this. This is kind of misleading, like I said. Let me know what you guys think of this. I think this is good. I mean, they're going to be bringing in some cash after expenses into it. So this will be definitely a lot better of a deal that Hut 8 is getting into with USBTC here. Okay, so I think this is a good thing for them, but it's not as great as having their own machines and mining that way. Okay, so that's it. That's all the stories we have for today. We'll see what happens tomorrow, and then tomorrow we'll probably get into how Bitcoin did for the week, along with the miners, see who performed better, and then maybe some other things as well. A couple of things I'm looking into as well is CoinDesk. A lot of you have asked about doing a deep dive on CoinDesk, and then also on MicroStrategy. They're not miners, but they do obviously have a lot of BTC assets. So we'll kind of take a look at, I'll try to figure out a way to look at them based on the things that we do have for them, I guess. We'll figure it out. Okay, but that's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend, I believe, here in the United States. So we got an extended weekend here. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then.